Welcome in, peelers! It's Spider-Man review time!
Amazing.
Dude, okay, so if you're not watching on YouTube, I am wearing a Spider-Man mask, and Peter is just seeing it. I kept my camera off intentionally until right now.
I am blown away. This is
off.
almost as much of a surprise as the Spider-Man.
Oh, wait. Spoiler warning.
We'll put a spoiler warning before the video. How about that?
Oh, yes.
2 steps ahead.
2 steps ahead. Well, welcome in, peelers. That's the official name we're going with now.
Come on.
That's what won.
It's official. New levels, baby.
Yes, and we are excited that you are here with us this week to talk. Actually, Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Friday. Christmas is tomorrow. What are you going to get, Peter?
What am I going to get?
Dude,
That's a great question. I have already, though. I've gotten several gifts from just like people at the church that I work at.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I've already received a nail trimming set. Underrated gift. Like, I never would have thought of this, but like a nice set of nail clippers, and like there's like a bunch of different utensils in there. Like, I don't even know what they're for. But
there's light.
Yeah.
So wait, is this a sign that you need to trim your nails? Is
probably.
This what somebody?
I mean, they gave them to everybody, so I'd like to think no. That's what I'm hanging on to.
Yeah,
but who knows?
I got a nice bag of fruit. It was like a gift. It was like not a fruit basket, but it was like a gift bag of fruit. And dude, honestly, I was so happy. I think that's like the definition of being like an adult is like when you're happy to get fruit.
That's true, because that's almost never the case as a kid.
Oh no, never. Somebody gave me fruit as a kid. I'd be like, what do you want me to do with this? Like throw it at a wall?
Yeah. What for us, like whenever we wanted something to eat, or like we had a little sweets craving, my mom would say like, "Oh, there's fruit in the kitchen," and we'd be like, "You have misunderstood." No, she understood, but
yeah. You're like, Mom, do you hear me right now? I need sugar.
I mean,
she's like, well, there's sugar in fruit.
Listen,
no. Processed sugar. Dude, I'm a little all over the place because we kind of jumped right into it with the Spider-Man mask because I was trying to very discreetly not let Peter know that I was wearing the mask. So sorry for being all over the place here.
You got me. I did not see it coming.
I know. And
John's been trying to pull the mask off of himself for the past 2 minutes.
Come on, dude. You know what? I will say they come off way easier in the movies.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be very vulnerable and honest with the listeners, with the peelers. I did in fact wear that to the theater. I've never done anything like that in my life, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it because it's gonna be hilarious. My wife's gonna be embarrassed, and she was, but she was also like, you know what? You earned this. Go. She literally was like, go for it. Because I was like, should I?
Wow.
She was like, yeah. And I just kept it on like and scanned my ticket because they're scanning at the door, and then I just took it off because I couldn't see anything and it felt kind of weird. But
you even have a red windscreen on your microphone today.
Okay, that is very unintentional. And I thought about it. I was like, Peter's gonna say something. No, this is not intentional. It's for Christmas. See, green. I'm wearing green.
Good point.
Yeah. So.
I like
Dude,
it. What was your well? Tell me about walking in as a Spider-Man. What was your experience?
Well, as a Spider-Man, that's what you just said. I don't know if you meant to or not. Walking in as a Spider-Man. No, okay. So the night before, this is an awesome story. So the night before, I was like, I've been looking forward to. I realized it hit me. I saw the first plot leak of this movie last Christmas. Right?
Wow.
And
no
I was and honestly, we're gonna get into it. It was way too accurate. I don't know how they did it.
Wow.
It was so accurate. And
before the trailers, like
before the trailer, before Willem Dafoe was supposed to be in it or anything, it all said he was coming back. He was gonna be the main villain. A lot of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is exciting. So for the past year, on and off, I've been really excited. The last few months, basically just very excited.
Yeah.
And the night before, I'm like, yo, I'm hours away from seeing this movie. We're like, me and my wife are like cleaning, like doing laundry or something like that. And I'm literally like, I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait. There's this many hours. There's this many hours left, And she's like, she's rolling her eyes. She's kind of getting like finally fed up to the point of like it's been almost a year. It was about a year on and off of me talking about Spider-Man. that she was just like, John, if you mention it again, I'm not going. And I was like, no, yeah, right. She goes, no, seriously, I won't go. She's like, I honestly can't. I can't deal with any more talk of Spider-Man between you and Joshua, my son. He's a huge Spider-Man fan. He likes the Spidey and His Amazing Friends. That's his favorite show. So everything in our house is just Spider-Man. And she's like, so I was just like trying to keep my excitement in. And then I was like, hey, just unrelated. And then I just started singing, I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. And I was like dancing a little bit. And she was like, I'm not going. And I was like, what? She's like, no, in all seriousness, she got serious. She was like, I really don't want to go. And I was like, I bought you a ticket at 3:30 in the morning to go to this movie. Dude, I'm so embarrassed that this is my life. and I was like, like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, I'm really not going to go. She's like, I'm sorry. I can't take any more Spider-Man talk. And I'm so tired from work and stuff. I just don't think I can go. She's like, ask somebody else to go. So I asked a friend of mine to go. We were going with another friend as well. And he was like, hey, I'm busy. I'm like, all right, well, then you have to go. And she was like, fine. Dude, she liked it as much, if not more, than I did. She was crying. She was excited. She was screaming in the theaters. It was awesome, dude.
That's fantastic.
How about you, Peter?
Yeah, similarly, I went with my wife, and she is not a Spider-Man fan, but because she knows...
She wasn't. And
wasn't. Yes.
No, yes.
She's seen... I think she's seen one of the like older Spider-Man films, but
yeah.
Just recently, like she knew I spent a while, like probably like 30 minutes explaining like why when the trailer dropped, like that was a big deal. And all the hype around it. Yeah. So I spent like a long time explaining that to her, and she knew I was like super excited about it. Yeah. So she's like, "All right, I'll try and get on this. I'll try to get on board here with you." And so she watched and mind you, this is not my wife's cup of tea. But she watched Homecoming, she watched Far From Home, and got excited about the premiere with me, and she had a great time as well.
That is awesome.
Yep, she was crying at certain points, probably at the same points as Amaris, but
I'm sure
it was good.
Okay, so, and also sitting in the theater waiting for it to start was literally like I had so much excitement. It was unreal. And
so many trailers, though.
Yeah, and I know there's so many. I was like, just get on with it. I ate like almost half the popcorn before it started.
I hate that. Yeah.
And we're gonna get into like, I don't know, do you just want to talk about, like, I wrote down a lot of stuff, or we can just talk about like the plot of the movie, break it all down, whatever you want to do. I'm here to talk about Spider-Man, but I will say, before we get into it or decide what we're doing, there were times where I'm not joking. I've never felt like this before, where I was like, I feel like I'm in a dream. I genuinely was like, because and I went back and I listened to my predictions, and my predictions changed a little bit from from when we did the episode on the Peel of talking about Spider-Man theories. I kind of made some more targeted and different predictions that I stuck with, that I want to say I was 99% accurate in my predictions. And I am so sorry if
well done.
a lot of our talks ruin the movie for anybody, but all right, so how do we want to do this?
Let's just go for it. Spoiler warning. If you've come this far and you haven't watched the movie, then it's
just turn it
your
off.
Own fault.
Just turn it off.
I don't know why you're still here, so please just come back later.
Yes. See the movie and then listen to this.
Yes.
Dude. First, and Peter, I don't know if we said this, maybe I did. We haven't talked about it. Like, we intentionally have not talked about this movie.
John tried to call me right after the movie, and I didn't answer. So I was like, why? We got to save this for the Peel.
We got to save this for the Peel. Yes. In my moment of weakness, you saved it. No. And also, I just want to say, our friend Josh Smith was supposed to join us today, but unfortunately, he's a little bit under the weather, and he couldn't be here, so
he'll be back soon.
He'll be back soon. Don't worry. But
we love you, Josh.
We love you, Josh. Feel better soon. Thanks for watching Spidey. All right, dude. Should we say it?
Let's just go for it.
Dude, they're in it. Andrew and Toby are
Tobey Maguire.
Dude. Okay, who are you more excited about?
Toby.
Okay, I thought I was gonna be more excited for Toby.
I don't know.
Dude, I think I was more excited for Andrew. I was Wait, go ahead. I want to hear you. I've been talking a lot. I want to hear yours.
I have a reason. Okay, so I am more of a Andrew Garfield fan than a Tobey fan because that was like my first in theaters Spider. I hadn't seen a Spider-Man
Okay,
movie
okay.
before, really. So that was like when I was like, oh my gosh, like live action Spider-Man is awesome. When I saw it in
Yeah,
theaters at like 14 or something.
yeah.
Um, so I've always been more of a Garfield fan, but also like the Andrew Garfield's entrance into this movie was way better
Dude,
than Tobey's entrance, in
dude,
my opinion. Like
yes.
when they opened up that portal, I was like, it really did not dawn on me like this is a different Spider-Man. But that was the perfect entrance, you know?
Oh my
And when he
gosh.
came through, I was like, I was like grabbing
Dude,
the like seat arms, and I was like, oh my god,
yes.
this is happening. It's like that Michael
Yes.
Scott thing. Oh my gosh, it's
It's
happening.
happening. It's happening. Everybody stay calm. Yeah,
So
dude.
and that just made me so hyped. I was like, that whole scene, I was like in a daze. I was like, oh, is this really
That
happening?
that's the moment that
Like,
felt like a dream because it was
yeah,
everything
yeah,
I hoped for and more. Like,
yes, yes,
oh, dude. Okay, so when that scene came up, as soon as he said, "Show me Peter Parker," I was like, "Wait a minute. Are they gonna?" I
oh,
was like, "Is this gonna like open two other? It's gonna open like three portals or something like that." I was like, "I don't know, I don't know." And then when I saw like because he's like facing away from the portal, and I was like, "What? Why is he in an alley? Like he's probably just upset. Like what is he gonna do? Are they gonna show him to do something crazy?"
yeah,
And then, dude, the second he turned around, my heart just started pounding. I'm like, dude, that's Andrew. I could tell by like the eyes. I was like, dude, that's Andrew.
yes,
I'm like literally like shaking, but like not like shaking, like convulsing, but like I was like very from excitement in my seat, and I was like, yes, yes, it's happening, it's happening. And as soon as he jumped through, bro, the movie theater was like.
I know.
Ah! Like going, and he took off his mask and like it like went even crazier,
Yep.
and like oh my! And then I felt bad because I was just as excited for Toby, but everyone was like, "Yeah!" And then it stops, and it opens up, and he's just standing there, and they were like, "Yeah, woo!" Like you could tell
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
were just as excited, but it was like we just stopped cheering, and it was like a little like, "Oh, we knew he was coming now." Like you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of
Yeah,
felt bad.
I felt bad too because I feel like that moment could have been a lot better because I mean Toby's the
Yeah,
OG, right?
I
But it was
I
very
know.
like obvious that that was about to happen, so there was
Yes.
no like there wasn't a whole lot of like build up,
Yeah.
um, or like it didn't catch you off guard in any way like Andrew did,
Yeah.
so that was a little sad, but it was still like
Oh.
Toby was like perfect in every scene that he was in,
Oh, dude,
like
he was the fact that they went with like exactly what we wanted. A very mature, like I've been through it and I'm gonna help you guys along. Like Andrew kind of was like that too, but it was like
yeah,
Toby was the furthest along in his journey, and he had like the most to offer for
yep.
like for really both of them, especially the younger Peter or like the Tom Holland's Peter.
Oh,
And
you're making
oh,
me want to
dude,
go back and watch
I
it.
I want to see it again so badly. And honestly, okay, so when he just like I thought it was kind of weird that he was like, "Oh, can I step through this?" And then he just kind of stepped through. That was a little weird.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
dude, when they looked at each other and I was just like watching like the two Spider-Man from my childhood
Yep.
interact, I was like, "No way." And then they started shooting webs at each other. Did you notice what Toby did?
No.
Dude, this is why okay, I
Did he block
I
his web
honestly
shooter?
bro, he blocked his web shooters. He literally,
Dude.
you can see like they're shooting at each other, and he notices, and he shoots his web shooters and blocks Andrews. So he stops, and then they just realize, wait a minute. And I was
Yeah.
like,
And I would like to say Andrew
dude.
shoots first. I went back and watched that
Oh,
scene.
okay, okay,
Like,
okay.
and Toby just reacts.
Unless they change it later, like
True.
George Lucas. So Andrew does it first. Okay, that I didn't realize. I didn't know how it started.
Yep.
Yes,
It'll be like the
dude.
Han Solo and Greedo thing. Like,
Yeah.
Toby shot first. No, he didn't.
Dude.
But I loved. I have to say something like on Toby.
Yeah, go for it.
Just well, really on both of them. They brought back the parts of those characters that everybody was the most like fond of. Like it was just so great to see
Yes.
those characters again. Like
Yes.
just in itself, but like the way that the way that Andrew, it was so self-aware, like, of what those characters really are.
Oh
So like
yeah.
Andrew Garfield comes through the portal. The grandma that's in the room
Oh
was like,
dude.
she gets out the chancla or whatever,
Yeah.
like, like throws something at him. She's
Yes.
like, "What are you doing here? Like, get out of here!" And then because he's like more of like a bad boy type. And then Toby
Yeah.
comes through, and like the grandma kind of like gives him a look and just like waves, and Toby
Yes.
waves back with a little
Yeah.
smile. It's like it was just so perfect. Like that's
Yes.
exactly what those characters are or would be in that
Yes.
situation. So
Yeah.
perfectly written scenes
Yeah, I
of
heard
them.
that this was like, again, along with a lot of like the plot things that were coming out before the movie, that John Watts and Amy Pascal, they were in contact, excuse me, with Sam Raimi and
Mm.
Mark Webb, like very, because they were their characters, so they wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that they were doing everything correctly, which is awesome. And I think it really showed, because the characters that we knew and loved are still the characters we knew and we loved.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved it. Oh, and then, dude, we gotta hold on. Let me look on my list to see. I wrote down a lot of stuff. Dude, I love the premise of the movie. I wasn't sure the direction. I was a little surprised that they went in the direction he was gonna fix them, but it's so
Yeah.
it's fix the villains. It's so Spider-Man. Like it is like
Mm.
like if you and I started thinking back like Toby really did not want Norman to die or to be a villain. Like he really wanted to help him. He really wanted to help Sandman. He really wanted to help Doc Ock.
Yeah.
And then even same thing with Andrew. Like Spider-Man wants to help his nemesis get on the right
Yeah.
track.
He's like the whole time he's like, "Oh, Max, like, let me
Yeah.
let me save you," and all that
Yes.
stuff.
And then
Ah.
and so that was like that being the biggest thing, and the fact that Aunt May was the one that kind of like pushed
Mm.
Tom Holland to do that. I was like, this is good. Like I was really enjoying it. I loved seeing all like the villains interact. I loved that Willem Dafoe was like he had that inner conflict really well with
Yeah.
Norman and Goblin. Honestly, and you sent me a meme kind of joking around about this, but
Yeah.
dude, this was his final form. This was like,
Yeah, like-
he was better than in the original, dude.
Ultimate Goblin, like, no doubt. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Toby movies,
Yeah.
but like, was he like? Did he have super strength and like all that
Yeah.
stuff? He did.
So the reason that he did the reason that he became Goblin was because they were working on a super like soldier serum, kind of like Captain America. I mean, again, the MCU wasn't around, so it was like, if you knew the comics and stuff and you knew what they were referencing, they were trying to replicate something like that. And he takes it. It should have went back to formula, if you remember that. And he decided to take it, and it ended up making him mentally unstable. So he goes between this like these moments of sanity and then these moments of insanity where he's Goblin. So and I was always confused as a kid. Like, why is he talking to the Goblin? Like, when he'd look at the
Yeah.
helmet and talk, and they'd show him moving his mouth. This was way more clear, and I understood when I was older, but this is way more clear. Like, there's this inner conflict going on inside his mind,
Yeah, it's like multiple personality disorder, basically.
Yes. And there's honestly so much, but I'm gonna say that the first fight scene with Goblin and Tom Holland was
in the apartment.
Yeah, was so like it like rocked me to my core, because you realize, and I was like, why did this affect me so much? Like it was so emotional. It was like scarring. Like it was insane. Like
Yeah, it was
it's so
intense.
brutal. And I realized, I'm like, dude, because like Goblin is literally trying to murder a 17-year-old boy. Like, if you really think about it, like, dude, he was flinging him through glass, through multiple floors of an apartment building. He
Yeah.
was like, it was, and then like, do you see the part where Tom was on top of Goblin and he's punching him, and every time he pulls his fist back, Goblin's just laughing.
Yeah.
I was like,
dude, that
what
part
the-
I was like, oh my gosh.
I know.
like
know.
that was actually like freaky.
I know.
I'm a 23-year-old man. That was freaky.
Yes, yes, and also I love William Dafoe deserves an Oscar for this. This was fantastic.
It was
I fully
incredible.
believe that. And he did all of his own stunts, and he's 66.
That's
That was
crazy.
one of his like things. He said, if I'm gonna come back, I want to like be a huge part of the movie, and I want to do my stunts.
Yeah.
Which is so he was really flinging him through parts of the building. No, not really, but dude, Aunt May, that whole sequence, like when
Still
dude,
hard to watch.
oh my! I think I'm gonna hot take. I think it was harder to watch than either of the other Uncle Ben's dying.
That was one of the most emotional and like well acted death scenes that I've ever seen.
Yes.
At all.
It was so
like
crazy.
The way Peter was like reacting and when he was like
Yeah.
realizing it was so intense.
Yes.
And I feel like I've never seen a death scene on that level where it's like
No.
a slow death and they're like cradling the person, you know, that kind of
Cause
death.
Because you kept like going, okay, like she's fine. Is she
It's
fine?
okay, she's not.
She's not.
Yeah.
Like, and apparently the dialogue is very similar to Andrew and Gwen's final thing. Like when Andrew goes down and catches Gwen and she's already dead and he's talking. He's like, stay with me. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. It's very similar in dialogue. I saw that after, but dude, the way, and I'm gonna again another hot take. She delivered the great power comes great responsibility line better than either of the Uncle Bens, dude.
Agree.
It was because it was way more emotional. It was way more like she was like it, dude. It propelled Tom Holland's Spider-Man into Spider-Man. There is no more. There is no more like, oh, he's Iron Boy Jr. like everyone would always say, and oh, he's not really like a good Spider-Man, dude. This put him on a journey that I don't think we're ready for. I think I think the next trilogy is gonna be. I don't know if they can top this because Andrew and Tom, the Sinister Six, well, the Sinister Five, dude. But it's gonna be on par. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can keep going. It is. What else do you got, Peter?
I have a lot to say. We'll try to keep this like not 2 hours long. But okay, a couple of things on that. So when I was thinking about like, okay, is this like objectively like a good movie or not? A big part of that is character growth and like what was their character arc? Did they grow and change because of the circumstances that they went through? And at first I was like, I don't know. I was like, did Peter like really grow? Like he started out like and the reason I say that is because he was ready to kill Goblin at the end. Like that was like that was supposed to be like the growth there. Like he went from like I want to rip this guy's head off to like, I'm going to save him. And he still saved him, but it was like it was like almost. Begrudgingly. Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
And Toby stopping him from doing that was incredible.
Oh, I almost cried, dude.
Dude, for
so
real.
Perfect.
Like, that was the same way that his goblin died, was
impaled
with the glider. And he stopped him from doing that. But so I was like, did Peter really grow? Like he was still right about to kill him, and that's like at the end of the movie. But I think the biggest growth is that he went from like a boy to a man. And I've seen a few people saying that, like, and just the choice of, I mean, it's not like you really had that much of a choice. It's like the universe explodes or like people forget who you are.
But he was but he was so okay with it.
Yeah, but it ruined his life, and he still like chose to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about the classic like thing about Spider-Man, and this is I think from like Stan Lee, is that is handling the responsibility of being a Spider-Man and being Spider-Man. I keep saying a Spider-Man. Being a Spider-Man and like still, managing your personal life basically. I didn't say that very well, but it's something along those lines. And it like this movie did exactly that, is he chose, the weight of losing of his personal life basically over being a hero. So he chose being a hero.
Yeah. And I love that there's no more relying on Stark Tech. There's no more relying on any of the other Avengers. There's no one. Dude, he is on his own in a small apartment in New York, about like going to college. He's about to hit college,
And there's no way home.
There's no way home. Yeah, no. He's got his own suit, which that ending shot of like you saw like glimpses where it's like a mixture
Yeah.
of like all three suits. It kind of looks like
Yeah.
it's very comic booky, and he's just Spider-Man now. I love it, dude. It is like everything that people had like issues with the first two movies, like all makes sense now because it led him to this big choice of like, does he want to try to be this like, I want to be an Avenger and I want to be the next Tony Stark, and no, I'm gonna be the Spider-Man that they need me to be,
Yeah.
and that I'm supposed to be. And dude, I cannot say it enough. This movie was so amazing. Like,
Dang. You're
and
making me love
also-
it more as we're talking.
I know, dude, and also the fact that Andrew saved MJ.
Oh.
Dude, we forgot to talk. We not forgot, but we haven't hit that yet. I like our whole movie theater. They lost it. Like they
Yeah.
as soon as he got pulled away, I was like, no way. I was like, there, Andrew's gonna do it. And they show him, and he jumps into action. And I love that this time, because again, he knows what happens if he uses the web. So this time, dude, he like swoops down, he grabs her in his arms, and then he saves himself because he's like, I gotta make sure she's safe. And then like just the look on his face of like being like, oh my gosh, I saved her. Did I really do this? And like her face,
Yeah.
everything. Oh,
It was a perfect moment. I was shocked
Yes.
that it really happened exactly the way that you kind of expected it to, but
yeah,
it was so perfect. That more than any moment, that was like
Yes.
the emotional like moment of the film for me because I just
Yes.
love Andrew Garfield, and
I know.
that was like so redemptive. And even hearing him talk about like how after Gwen died, he became this
Oh,
like
yeah.
rageful Spider-Man,
Yep.
and he like lost who he was. That was
Yeah.
like, and he's like, weeping through like telling Peter that.
Yes.
Like that really got me, but that made it added even more weight to him catching MJ at the
Yes.
end.
Yeah.
Um,
It
because
was like so healing.
it was so redemptive. I love that. It
Yes,
brought so much
yes.
closure to something that we had
Yes.
no closure on at all.
I know.
And yeah, like when he says like he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then like he's like crying, and he's like, "Are you
Are
okay?"
you okay?
But
I love
it's
it.
like it's a funny line, but also
Yeah.
it's still such an emotional moment.
I know.
And I'd say one other thing on the topic of closure, like the way that they added to Toby's story, and just a little bit hearing
Yeah.
like what happens with him and MJ, like they make it work
Yeah.
out, and like you never
Yes.
really know what happens. I don't like
doesn't-
Spider-Man
yeah.
3 just ends on like a happy note when they're like together, but the fact that they really do like have a
Work it
life
out.
together and they make
I
it
know.
work.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Toby says something to Doc Ock along those lines of
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't remember what the line is, but he's like, I'm trying to be better every day. And
Yeah.
I didn't really know what that meant, but it was so cool.
So I saw something because I saw like some Easter egg videos. They were saying like I guess like I think it was Doc Ock told him, and I could be wrong on this. I'm just like I saw it a couple days maybe like a day or two. Well, yeah, like a day or two ago. And I think it was something like in Spider-Man 2, he said like, he says you're really like brilliant, but you're lazy and you need to do better. Or something like Doc Ock was talking about like he heard about Peter and he's talking to him. And so when he says like I'm doing better, it's like exactly like when he told him to do, like be better, do better.
Yeah.
So it was like a callback to like to that moment. I think that's what they said it was.
And I think there's a lot more of those callbacks that
Oh.
we'll find out more and more as
Yes.
people discover them.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm excited for that.
William Dafoe said the line.
He said the line.
He said, "I'm something of a scientist myself."
that
Dude,
is so beautiful
I
that they
couldn't
did that.
believe it, and he said it with such a like so much confidence. I was like, "This is amazing!" Like he said it, bro.
That's crazy.
And then of course Daredevil was in the movie, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I was really excited about that.
This was totally like in line with what I wanted to say, was that there was a humongous focus on, it was like they made a movie and they were like, all right, what if we just gave them all the fan service that they want?
Yes.
And they did exactly that, even down to the I'm something of a scientist myself. Like
I know.
that's in there because it's like a meme, and so
know,
it's like
I
they know
know.
the memes and they like
Yes.
incorporated them.
Yeah.
And even Daredevil being in there was like literally the most pointless thing ever because he's in one scene and
a
does
little
nothing.
A
But
little bit.
I'm sure that it's a little introduction, like, but
Yeah.
more than anything, it was just like an Easter egg that like fans wanted to happen, but
Yeah.
there wasn't really a point to it. So it's
They,
like they're deliberately just like giving us fan service at
yeah.
this point, which
Are you
is wonderful.
are you are you caught up on Hawkeye?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to say. So, again, spoiler for Hawkeye. If you if you haven't seen Hawkeye, do something really small. They like Kingpin from that show is in it. Like they show him in like the
Yeah.
last. So like I think they're slowly trying to bring in those characters. So on Wednesday you had them show a picture of him showing up
Yeah.
in Hawkeye, and then when Spider-Man comes out, there's that small little thing of Daredevil, which was cool.
Perfectly
I think
timed.
yeah, yeah. Which I love that kind of stuff. And you're right, it was fan service, but and about a lot of people were like, "Oh, it was pointless to have Andrew and Toby in there." It was literally just 'cause that's what fans wanted. If they would have thought about having, Spider-Man fight a different villain, we wouldn't have had this. They just didn't know what to do. I think it really served the story well because we got closure for all three Spider-Men. First of all, because they all were supposed to get more movies. Like, well, Toby and Andrew
Yeah.
were supposed to get more movies, and it never happened. So it was like closure for that. Closure for the story arcs of all these villains, and then it also kind of gave Peter all these reasons to like it gave him the maturing that Tom Holland gave him all the maturing that he needs to move on and to be, dude, probably the best Spider-Man. I think he's gonna I think he's on track to be my favorite if he's not already.
Well, no Spider-Man has ever had a second trilogy, so we're gonna find out. I think he
I
very well
know.
could be. I think he's just
Yeah.
gonna keep improving on the character and growing. But yeah, I
Yeah.
will say on that, there was, with all they gave so much closure, like you said.
Yeah.
But it was amazing that they added things to these older characters, and you have to be really careful when you do that with
Yes.
beloved characters. And an amazing example of how to do this terribly is Star Wars. Like, when with like the
Yeah.
Emperor and like all these other characters, like, they try to add so much to Star Wars,
Yeah.
and in the process they like took away so much. They like detracted from
cheapened it.
and cheapened it. But this is a perfect example of how to do that well. They
Yes.
perfectly ended these
Yes.
characters. Like, we're probably not going to see more Toby, probably maybe not going to see more Andrew.
Maybe there's rumors. There's
There's
of more
rumors.
Andrew. I
But
hope
if we don't, then it
Yeah.
it really gave us the closure that we needed as fans on those characters.
Yeah.
And it was amazing that they added to their stories, and it was just perfect. It was
Yeah.
everything that we wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And I really hope moving forward that Andrew continues to deny that he's in the movie. I would so badly for like this next interview to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sick of the movie's out. You can see it. I'm not in it." Just keep
Yeah.
going.
That's
I'm not the
hilarious.
werewolf.
Like, to his grave.
Yeah. Dude, I really, really hope he does that. I don't think he will, because I'm sure it was killing him to have to continue to deny it.
Yeah.
But he also probably kind of liked it. Although the last video I saw, like right before it came out, somebody like on the he not on the street, but they were like at some event, and he was signing autographs, and they were like, hey, are you in the Spider-Man movie? And he's like, he just looks up, he kind of looks frustrated. He's like, honestly, just you have to see. He was just
Yeah.
like,
He's, like,
just
over
go
it.
check it out. Yeah.
He did amazing though at like denying this whole time.
I know. I mean, I knew the guy was
Everyone,
caught in 4K.
it was
but-
hard
yeah.
not to,
I
but
know. Yeah, but he did a good job. And then you have Tobey Maguire, who's literally just walking around New York City telling people he's in the movie. Bro,
love that.
did you see that thing? Like somebody's
saw
like,
it.
I saw him, and I asked him, and he said yeah. And I was like, but who's gonna believe that guy?
It's so funny.
I know.
I love
dude.
it.
Yeah.
It's part of being a more seasoned Spider-Man,
Yep, there you go. Dude, what was your favorite moment? We're going to do two things. We're going to talk about favorite moment, then we're going to rate the movie.
Favorite moments. I think it was somebody, I was thinking about this the other day, and it wasn't the MJ catch. I think honestly it was the rooftop scene. When they meet Peter, they meet Tom Holland.
Dude, that was so
like
good.
that really got me. Just the emotion of everything. Like, It was kind of funny that Tom Holland, like, he wasn't like that shocked by like seeing them. He was like, "Get out of here!"
He
You know?
looks over.
It's
He's like,
whatever.
"What? 2 other versions of me? Get out of here, man!"
What?
It was a little, yeah.
But just the way that they like counseled him through that moment, and like talked about their own stories and like their own
Yes.
grief and how they overcame it, and it was so redemptive because even like that's like so true to life. Like people that have gone through hard things, and then like it's not like in real life a lot of times like somebody dies and then you go try to kill the person that kills the no. But like it's so true. Like if taking like revenge does not give you closure that you need, and when people think that it will, and that was just such like a good life lesson, like such an emotional scene, and that was my favorite, I think.
I think my favorite moment was right when everything starts like happening, like all like when they're on the Empire, or not the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, and all like the villains are coming, and they all put their masks on and they run out to the edge and they jump down and all 3 of them are swinging together. I thought that was my favorite moment. It wasn't the most heartfelt or anything like that, but just like it was everything I'd hoped for. It was like that moment and the moment when they first came in felt like a dream. And then I went back and I watched that scene again. And when they jump down, they swing, they all grab onto something, they swing up and they start to go around a corner. And as soon as they round the corner, did you notice what happened?
No.
So Tom Holland turns around, he web shoots both of them, and he swings them around the corner. So at one point, they're all connected, like swinging, and then they like, dude, it was so cool to watch that, like to see all 3 of them, like, I loved it.
I saw that happen, but it was like I blinked through part of it. And I was like, whoa, like what was that?
Like,
it was like too much happening at once, but
it was so awesome.
That's a great moment right there.
I loved it, and honestly, though, I think I was so excited about Andrew and Toby, but surprising, and honestly, there's so much, dude. But I think William Dafoe might have done the best job in the movie. Like, he was so unbelievably good.
It's hard to argue not.
I know. But I think the future's bright. I really hope they get the MJ and Ned situation, fixed. I hope they don't just leave those characters in the dust. I hope they bring them along for the next trilogy. The future is bright for Spider-Man, my friend.
Or who knows? Maybe Spider-Man will go on and find another Gwen.
No, okay. In all seriousness,
MJ just dies off screen. Like she's not there in the next movie.
Dude, if they did that, because I thought about it, I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna like just leave them. Like, dude, if he literally was like, I'll come find you, I love you, and she's like, and he started, or she said that she loves him, and then he's about to say it, and she's like, no, save it for when you find me. And if they just if he goes and finds Gwen, I'm gonna be so so mad.
It's like, Gwen, like, I love you.
Yeah, I love you. And then stinking MJ's is there, like chopped liver, dude. I would be so mad. I would take back everything I said about this.
No, be honest. When Peter walks into the cafe at the end, and then like MJ waves at Ned, was there a part of you that thought that MJ and Ned were about to kiss? Or like
I don't think so.
Somebody else said that too. I was like so worried like Ned was gonna walk in and be like, "Hey babe."
Oh god. Hey babe.
It'd be awful.
Dude, and then Tom Holland just goes berserk on it. Dude. Oh no, I thought like she was gonna know. Like I thought she was gonna I thought he was not gonna say it. Like I knew he wasn't gonna say what he had written down. I knew it. But I thought he was gonna like ask for like the coffee, and then she was gonna be like, "Here you go, Peter," and then it was gonna be like how did you know the power of love? I don't know how it would work. Oh,
friendship is magic.
No, I really thought that it was gonna be like something like Doctor Strange had included a few people into the spell.
And that would have been so easy to do.
Dude, I know. But for emotional reasons,
I know. His hands are tied. Question about the ending.
Yes.
So what happened to the bad guys? when they're
Okay.
transported back? Like, was the whole thing pointless? Did they still go back to where they die?
They go back. We're like, I'm all better. I'm dead. I think I heard somebody say, and they had a reason, and I didn't really read too much about it, that they would actually go back and like live again. I don't know. Dude, I don't know. I've heard some
word.
plot holes, like why was Electro there? Because he never knew who Peter Parker was. But then I also read it's because there's a moment where he's like on like the grid for the whole city, and he's getting all this data, and then Gwen says Peter, and his eyes, like Electro's eyes, like light up, and it was like a known fact that he took pictures of Spider-Man. So it's like, oh, the guy who's been taking pictures of Spider-Man is Spider-Man, but they just didn't know what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? So like, so I was like, okay, that makes sense, and I'll believe anything to make it make sense.
I'll roll with that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there was definitely a few things. Like I don't know what happens. I'd like to believe they went back and they lived and they were fine. Probably not. They probably died. But if anything, hey, they all played along. Like the other Spider-Man probably knew this isn't gonna actually save them, but let's just help this kid out. You know. But
That's
I don't think, did Lizard die? Lizard didn't die.
He didn't die.
Sandman didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot of unanswered questions, but
Yeah.
at that point when the plot is like that thick, it's like hard to like
Yeah.
get every question answered.
Yes.
So,
All right,
know.
Peter, what would you rate this movie?
I would rate this movie. Oh gosh, that's such a hard question. I would rate it a 9 out of 10.
Dude, I went through my IMDb lists that I've rated because I love to rate movies. Like I really like give it thought, and I sit there and I think about it for a long time. No, I really enjoy doing that. When I watch a movie, I go on and I rate it. And I went through all the things that I've given a 10. Inception, Prestige. I gave those movies 10.
Wow.
There was I gave one movie a 10 because it was absolute garbage, but it was so funny that I was like, I gotta give it a 10 so as a joke. I think I gave one movie. It might have been The New Home Alone. I gave like a 2 or something like that.
Nice.
But I have not rated a Marvel movie 10. At first, WandaVision. Then I went back and I thought about it and I gave it a 9. I gave this movie a 10.
Wow.
Being a huge Spider-Man fan, I was so happy with this movie. I think it was amazing. I don't think they like there was a lot of characters. They gave them awesome arcs, a lot of closure to all, as we talked about, a lot of redemptive moments, exactly what people wanted. And I gave it a 10. And I stand by that. I think this is Marvel's greatest movie. I think this is the greatest Spider-Man movie.
Wow.
I loved this movie, bro. It was
Praise
so
the Lord.
good. Praise the Lord. Praise God. It was so good, dude. It was so good. I tied it into my Sunday message at church.
Are you kidding?
No, okay, no. So I did it as kind of a joke in the beginning.
You
I
like
talked
gave
about-
out spoilers.
I was like, just like Jesus comes back to life. No, no. I said like how it tied in like 20 years worth of Spider-Man movies and how I like went back and watched them all, and we were in like this is kind of weird to talk about in the podcast, but I was in John chapter 1 where John is writing about Jesus being like there from the beginning, telling us all the important stuff. So I just kind of made a joke because people know I really like the movie and I was really excited about it, but I kind of tied it in.
That's awesome.
I gave it a 10, and I give the Bible a 15 out of 10.
There you go.
Well, Peter, is it time?
It's time to say thank you.
It's time to say thank you.
I'd like to thank Ned Leeds for being straight comedy gold throughout this entire movie. Thank you, Ned.
I'd like to thank Math for stopping Doctor Strange for 12 hours.
I would like to thank... I'm just going to leave it at that.
Wow, I would like to. I would like to thank Willem Dafoe for being a scientist, somewhat of a scientist himself, and I would like to thank my wife for enduring Spider-Man talk for a long time, and I'd like to thank the Peelers for listening, and we'll see you next week.